And welcome back to the Marching Arts Network. I know it's been a hot minute or two since we've put a video up, but that, I promise you, is all going to be changing over the next few weeks. Justin and I have taught Jen how to make videos, so I think she's looking forward to probably putting, I would imagine, a lot of color guard content onto the channel, which is something that I'm really looking forward to seeing, because that's really kind of the one thing about drum corps that I know very little about from a technical perspective. So what is today's video about? So today's video is going to be part of our 2024 Reacts series. So we're going to be reacting to 2024 shows, and we're starting with places 1 through 3. So we were going to kind of draw straws and all that stuff, but I said, you know what, guys? I will be the magnanimous one here. I will take one for the team, and I will do the Blue Devils. That's what I'm going to be looking at in today's video. Jen is going to be releasing a video looking at the Boston Crusaders, and Justin is going to be doing Bluecoats. Not necessarily looking to do 1 through 3, then 4 through 6, whatever the case may be. So if there's a particular 3 that you guys think would be worthwhile having a look at the channel, I don't care if it's top 12, top 25, if it's all age, open class, whatever the case may be. Pop it down in the comment below. And while you're down there, if you're one of the people that watch the channel that aren't a regular subscriber, just hit the subscribe button. It costs you absolutely nothing. Helps us out a ton. Helps us to grow the channel. Growing the channel puts it into the YouTube algorithms and gets the content in front of more people. So enough waffling. So as I said, we're watching today. We're going to be watching the 2024 Blue Devils. And the show was titled The Romantics. The repertoire was Romantics Whisper by Dave Glide and All the Heavens Shall Tremble by Russell Brower and Matt Ullman. Fable Legends, the title theme by Russell Shaw. Merry-Go-Round by Joe Hisaishi. Shattered Pixel by Dave Glide. Game Girl by Dave Glide. Time by Billy Porter. Distance by Dave Glide. And Can You Hear the Music by Ludwig Göransson, and finished up by Poor Things by Jerskin Fendrix. So a lot of different music in the show, a lot of different styles of music. Was it necessarily romantic? I don't know. But I think overall it was a pretty cool show. I particularly like in the middle of the show the Joe Hisaishi, I can't say the name, Joe Hisaishi part, which is music from Pokemon. And I think that's something the Blue Devils have been quite good at, is finding things like anime music, putting things like Britney Spears onto the field. Who would have ever thought that that would have worked, but it totally did. And that's something that they're really good at. Elephant in the Room. I was very, very hard on this show early season, and I don't think that that was undeserved. I think that early season this show was a bit of a mess, but I think it was pretty much a work in progress. Probably wasn't until the last week of the season that I really started to kind of be like, oh, I kind of like that show. They did change a lot of things. They changed up some of the drill. They didn't change up a lot of things that I wished they'd had. Truth be told, I was never particularly a fan of the capes, and I'm not really much of a fan of the capes now. I think that they look good in still pictures and all that, but I think that from a visual perspective, I think they added unnecessary mess, and they actually hid a lot of good content as well, because the capes completely hid the legs, and the Blue Devils are, in my opinion, year on year the most consistent as far as marching style, especially lower body marching style and control. And I just thought it was a shame that the capes kind of took that away. The other real criticism I have about this show, and I'll probably point it out as we're watching and all that, is I thought that the show spent too much time between the 30s, and it wasn't until the end of the show that we started using the whole field. And then the final thing is from a visual perspective, and to be fair, all of my criticisms about this show do tend to sit around visual side of things. So my final criticism is just too many what I like to call blob sets. So we're marching very well into these blob sets that just can't be read. So, but outside of that, and I know it sounds like I'm ragging on them. I genuinely am not. Outside of that, though, I did genuinely like the show. So placed third this year with a 97.075. Put that into perspective. To put the consistency of the Blue Devils into perspective, the last time the Blue Devils placed third, you've got to go all the way back to 2006 with the Godfather Part Blue show. Prior to that, they had a fourth in 2005, and again, it was a bunch of seconds and firsts all the way back to 2000. So this has been an organization that has been shockingly consistent. Coming into this year, the Blue Devils had an unbeaten streak, probably with a little tiny bit of an asterisk because we had COVID in there and all that, but an unbeaten streak of something like 1,500 days or something ridiculous like that. So obviously Bluecoats beat them, and Bluecoats ended up finishing the season undefeated. So the question I would ask is, or the question you may ask is, so does this mean the Blue Devils suck now? No, it doesn't mean that the Blue Devils suck. If anything, I would say that the Blue Devils were probably as good this year as they were last, if not probably better. And I don't think that the Blue Devils have had any drop-off as far as the quality and the consistency that they're putting out on the field. What I would say is that this year was probably kind of two different things at play here. Number one, the simple fact is that the Bluecoats and Boston were just better than them. And I think it was more of a reflection on the improvement that those cores made. But I'll touch on Bluecoats in a second. Boston was just stupidly clean. Had a great horn line, and they were just stupidly clean. Bluecoats. Now, Bluecoats, I don't think were any better than they were last year or the year before that or the year before that even. I think with the Bluecoats is that I think we saw the culmination of what they've been doing really since 2015 when they did Kinetic Noise. Is they've taken nearly a decade of experimenting with amplification, of experimenting with sampling, of experimenting with looping, and so on and so forth. And they've taken all that experience and wrapped it up into one show, and then didn't wear a shred of blue just to piss everybody off. But yeah, I think that's the case of the Bluecoats. And I think that the other thing as well is that I think that the judges or the judging community was receptive to somebody doing something different. Had the Bluecoats in Boston come out with the same sort of shows that they did the year before, I think Blue Devils win this season walking away. It was the simple fact that both Bluecoats and Boston came out with something really, really different. Boston with the multicolored uniforms and the lights on the hats. Bluecoats obviously with a complete different design concept. And I think the judges were just hip to the idea of let's let somebody else win this damn thing. So do the Blue Devils suck? No. Are they any worse than they were last year? No, I don't think so. Will they be any worse next year? No, I don't think so. The Blue Devils, if nothing else, as I said, are a shining example on the hill of just consistency in educators, consistency in the way that they do things, consistency and excellence. They just do everything to, absolutely. They have a standard. They never, ever, ever, ever deviate from that standard. So Blue Devils will be just fine moving forward. But anyway, enough of me waffling. Let's go ahead and have a look at this show. Right, headphones on. Let's go.
Drum majors, Dina Bogdanovich,
I'm looking this way, but anyway, no, I'll watch it here.
Performing their 2024 program, The Romantics, Drum Corps International.
Make this a little bit bigger here.
The Blue Devils.
So this chap right here is a chap called Alex Tucker. He's a British kid. He is marching again next year, I believe, is his age out year. I marched with him at the Kids Grove Scouts, so it was pretty cool seeing Alex being the featured character at the beginning of the show. Anyway, just a little, anyway. In fact, I'm going to rewind it because that's something I want to talk about right there. So here we go.
Performing their 2024 program, The Romantics. Drum Corps International is proud to present the Blue Devils.
So now, as much as I don't like the capes, I will admit that the capes do have their moments, and one of those moments is coming up very shortly, and that is the color guard reveal. So, and I think it's one of the coolest color guard reveals of the season. Again, Blue Devils color guard has that. Go on, basis. Blue Devils color guard has that modern dance style that they exhibit every single year. What an amazing brass hit. Here we are, we're the Blue Devils. Drop in the bass there. Now, a lot of times I talk about pit goo. You heard that bass drop there, which I thought was effective, but you could still hear the tubas, which I'm fine with. Nice moment from the tenors there. Nice articulation in the dut 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 dut. What a beefy baritone sound this corps has. I should say euphonium, they don't march baritones. One of only a couple that don't. Just the tiniest bit fluffy at the end there. Now, one of the things I really like about this show is the way that they feature the percussion throughout. All of the percussion features are super barren and super exposed. So there's a high risk, high reward going on here. Nice from the snares. I like how the baritones, when they came in that da 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 da, when they came in on that melody, they completely matched the articulation that the mellophones were doing. So it was a completely seamless transition from one voice to the next. Oh, to be young again. Flexible. Nice change of feel here. I love that. I love that sound of that euphonium section there. It just got such. It's like warm chocolate. Piccolo trumpet's not an easy instrument to play that. Oh, they almost lost that, but they did reel it back in. Go on, trumpets. I love the trumpets up the octave there. And now we're into the Pokemon section of the show. Again, super exposed percussion features. Like that little monkey arms there. I like the body visual that the battery's doing here. That slide. Ooh, nice. Hang on to it. Nice. Would be a Blue Devil's pit without him ramming out tons of notes. Again, super exposed percussion feature. Very nice ballad this is coming up as well. I really like this ballad. All right, can I point something out really quick? Just watch what the brass players behind the soloists are doing with their feet here. They're doing that. Is it like a plie walk or something along those? I can't remember the exact word for it. That is so hard what they're doing, and to do it in such an exposed, slow way. Chef's kiss. Anyway, I'll rewind it just a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about there. All right, here we go. It's total commitment to that technique throughout the movement. I've said before that the Blue Devils have no throwaway moments, and that's a perfect example of it right there. Come on, sound guy, could have done with that trombone coming a little bit not so loud. Trombonist is great. That's on the sound guys. not teaching there anymore, but I believe John Meehan's still doing the arranging, and just I love a John Meehan ballad. This is cool here. How you got the block picking up the lines coming across the field, and then we got the lines shifting in and out each other. So there's always some movement going on as opposed to just coming across and picking up a line. I love that. Like the rotating boxes here. Ooh, this one. Oh, there we go. Smaller block. Smaller block almost lost it, but they pulled it back. And now we're coming to the bit I was talking about before the show started. They can march. Nobody marches like the Blue Devils. And when they start taking up the whole field, you see the squiggly lines coming into the company front, which becomes a pinwheel in just a second. Chef's kiss. Absolutely zero differentiation on lower body technique from member to member. Just so consistent. Like the musical theater here as well, we're building into an ending. Oh, pretty cool, the guitar underneath, I like that. Here we go, watch this, just watch this here. Give the Blue Devils a whole field. Oh, come on now. That's just ridiculous. Wait, throw it, what is that, like a 7? But yeah, give the Blue Devils the whole field, and man, they just swallow up that space. So clean. Come on now, finish it. Love those flags at the end as well.
Under the direction of Pat.
So yeah, so take those off now. So yeah, so that is Blue Devils 2024. I thought it was a great show. I really liked the show. I didn't early season, but they did fix a lot in that show, and I really liked it, what they'd finished with at the end of the year. Should it have won? No. Bluecoats, in my opinion, were the absolute, unquestioned rightful winner of DCI 2024. I suppose there could have been an argument made for Boston, but in my opinion, Blue Devils, and I think the spread was right too. And I don't think that this show should have beat Boston. Like I said, Boston was just so clean. My problem with Boston was it was almost too clean, to the point where it was clinical. And there's an argument to be made that I've heard a lot of people say, oh, Phantom Regiment should have beat Blue Devils. And I love Phantom Regiment. I love 2024 Phantom Regiment. Mine is one of my all-time favorite drum corps shows, not just 2024 favorite shows, but one of my all-time favorite drum corps shows, and I don't think that should have beat the Blue Devils on finals night. Having gone back and watched it numerous times, I think that the Blue Devils, just everything that they did was just that slight, and I mean, we're talking, the tiniest of margins here, but just that slight bit more more betterly executed than Phantom Regiment was, kind of across the board. So I think that the spread, I think, ended up being something about like within a point, probably about right. So I think that the Blue Devils 2024 finished exactly where this show should have finished. And that's not saying that it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, I think it's a great drum corps show. I think it's no better, no worse than anything they put out over the last decade. Just kind of unlucky. That's what it boils down to. It's unlucky. Boston and Bluecoats just got better. So, and that's going to be it for this episode. These are going to be these videos we're putting out right now. They're going to be kind of short ones, but hopefully putting out a lot of them. So your comments would be great. I'd love to know what you thought of the show. One thing that I did hear about the show from somebody who was in the stands is that it did lack a lot of dynamics as far as quiets and louds, and that this show was kind of, right from the off, loud, louder, and loudest, and that there wasn't a lot of range, if you will. So I'd be interested if you were there to get your thoughts on that. But yeah, so that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, just hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment down below, and there's other ways you can support the channel as well. You can buy some merchandise, or you can also join as a channel member. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, no matter who you're doing it with, no matter when you're doing it, no matter where you're doing it, no matter how you're doing it, just when you're doing it, make sure, march on. Ciao.